Welcome back to comics, to Hot Comics TV. All right, let's talk about new in Genesis Evangelion by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. So, wow, what a series, what a franchise, what a workload dedicated to the end of the day, the end of days, literally apocalypse. This is what this is all about. Sorry to spoil it, but this is what the whole thing is in a nutshell. But I had my problems with this series when it first came out. I know that what I'm about to say, people are gonna like go like you know, go to hell. But truth is that it was very hard to digest this animated series because on top of what this was a kaiju TV series, right? This is like a series where you got big monsters going at each other. You got aliens or angels, whatever you want to call it, these entities that are coming from another dimension, whatever they might be coming from. And then you've got like the Avas, right, that protecting humanity of the end of days to stop to prevent a third impact or second impact, whatever they might be on. And then you have the drama between the kids because it's a kids it's a high school coming of age drama. And well, you got a couple of grown-ups, but they don't really make their presence is not as noticeable as except for one character, except for the kids. The kids are the main cast. Like Shinji, and Shinji is not the most likable character if you think about it. It's a I remember seeing the documentary. I mean, not documentary, but like the DVD. The translators like sort of opinions, and they were sort of talking about like when they did the first English adaptation, and they were calling him as an anti-hero. He's like you're not meant to like him, and that was some of the problematic things that you had on the animated series. And then you had the other characters were not well fleshed. I feel like they weren't as fleshed out as this has done. This series. Now this is the Omnibus. This got 3 volumes in one, so that's the appeal of these, and this is why if you like the Neon Genesis Evangelion series, this is one reason why you should purchase this. I'm gonna give you a rough overview about it right now. That's why I ended up committing to this and the other books, because I think it's a total of 4 or maybe 5. I can't remember. Anyway, so Sadamoto is very extremely talented. His manga work is very good, and I think that this manga series probably exceeds the animated series because there's a lot to say about the animated series. The animated series had its problems. The production wise, it was not because what do you call it? I know wanted to what do you call it? Have issues in his production because obviously Hideaki Anno is a master on his medium of animation, but the budget and the very abrasive fans that this man has in real life were even sending him death threats because of the final episode of the animated series. So this series, this manga, really, I think fleshed out. It has, now that I've read it now, years later, this has had a better elaborated the characters. The characters are they're more fleshed out. They're more expressive. You get more out of the characters than you get in the TV series. Obviously, in the animated series, everything's very compacted package, and they have to give you the story, the chapter, how it runs, and all that sort of thing. Whether on this, everything's taking a little bit more time, and you gotta understand that this was a promotional work that came out a year before the animated series. So that's the value of these comic book series. It's a lot of what do you call it? It's got more work, I think, in explaining the story overall, fleshing out the characters. Shinji is not as doesn't come across as annoying as you would think he is in the animated series. Not gonna get to spoilers. I just want you guys to acknowledge that that's what this is. This is very complementary to the material for the series, and also as it was a promotional to launch the TV series. It came out a year before. We're talking about 94, whether the anime came out in 95 in Japan, obviously. And this series, my goodness, this is bigger than Star Wars in Japan. This is their Star Wars. This is their pop culture icon, because this had so much traction, and it had like a very good record on selling the manga as much as this did with the movies. I mean, with the animated series. The movies I'm not even gonna bother to get into, because, good lord, I could spend like days talking about Genesis Evangelion. But yes, so what's there to be said about this book? Is it worth your money? I would say yes, if you like this series, if you are invested on it and you want to have maybe if you've seen the characters fleshed out even more, you'll get more out of that. They're more expressive. Like Aniami, she's more fleshed out on the series. Gendo, whatever he changes that is, he's more you can relate. The characters are more relatable on this. So this, it's almost one to the animated series, I have to say. Obviously, you can appreciate this more because you can actually stop. You can stop on the actual what do you call it, on the comic book, and you see more expression. I mean, yeah, it kind of gives you a second breath of life to the series. So what else can it be said about this series other than what the mega hit that it was, the cultural impact that it had in Japan, and as much as it had in the West? Because there's a lot of people that are fans of this series that obviously were conflicted, obviously because of the ending, and then you saw the movie that came out that sort of finished up the series a couple of years later, because Anna ran out of money. They had to do this sort of, the last episode was just done with like a sketch work. It was a photography. I mean, it was very creative artistically, but it was too abstract, and everybody was just like, what? That's the ending, and everybody's congratulating Shinji at the end. But that's without saying that that's not the actual ending. The actual ending was like later on the film, and then I'm not gonna get into those spoilers because, again, my goodness, the amount of religious overtones, and I mean religious commentary, the apocalypse, and all of that other stuff. It's all embedded there. So anyway, having said all of that, the work here is flawless, I think. I'm pretty sure that Anna had a meeting with what's his name? Sadamoto. Sadamoto is did the artwork based on the characters, on the character what do you call, library that Anna had done. It's 1-to-1. In fact, I think you get a lot more in this. So, but it's got all the character design there. He's following it up very well. So, like in the animated series, you see all the episodes. So, what would I give to this Omnibus version of it? I never bought the originals. I saw them and I was like, what? They're doing this now all these years later? It turns out that in Japan, this had come out a year before. So look at that. It's 1-to-1 to the animated series. well inked, well colored. Everything's just 1-to-1. It's perfect. If you want to buy, I mean, if you want to get into an manga, this is a good thing to get into. I would highly recommend this. So, yeah, you gotta enjoy it for what it is as well, because it's a comic book. I mean, it's a manga, I guess, and you will enjoy what's happening. I mean, just for the action alone. I mean, then later on, you can start digging in onto the religious commentary that I know was implemented onto this Sadamoto. So, but look, it's you can stop and sort of assimilate everything, absorbed all the material, savor the art. It's quite beautiful. So anyway, yeah, Sadamoto here. It's just this interviews. So this is all really good value. It's a cheap volume because it's a floppy trade paperback soft cover, but good quality paper, good quality printing. I would love to see these things in a larger scale. I'm always demanding for more, but yeah, Misato. Yeah, it kind of gives it a breath of fresh air to see these, especially if you pick it up years later. You go, okay, you'll see it in a different light. Be able to sort of get more for it, and they're not expensive. They're easy and available for people out there. So again, if you want to start reading manga, or you want to get into the Neon Genesis Evangelion fandom, if you want to do that, you want to lose yourself somewhere, this is a good way to start. So yeah, see, things are more fleshed out here, the way that you see them, opposed to what you would see it on the actual anime. This, you get more, you relate more to the characters. Everything's really good, and it's got more interviews. Ooh, I forgot about this. Anyway, yeah, that's the Neon Genesis Evangelion volume Omnibus. I highly recommend this to any fan. If you have the time to be reading these, maybe you want to commute to work with it. Only 2 decades later, that's fine. Or if you want to get more out of this universe that's a little bit more fleshed out, the characters are more relatable. You might like Shinji even more. Won't find him as annoying. Because this is another thing. There's more manga out there dedicated to Neon Genesis Evangelion, and it's quite gnarly to see that they've done a manga. There's one, just quickly. There's one manga where Shinji's got a gun, and that's enough to be said, right? So there's other adaptations of this series if you are ravenous for Neon Genesis Evangelion. And it continued on, to say the least, that this ended up in 2013. So way after what the anime series finished in. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's my quick overview for the omnibus of the Genesis Evangelion. This is a really good manga to get into, and also complementary to the work. You get more out of it comparison to the anime. So if you haven't seen the anime, go watch the anime, then start reading this, or maybe you want to do it the other way around. I don't know. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, please like and subscribe and all those good things. Bye bye.